Hey there, outliers. Niiamah is Sean here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey. It's a wonderful day here because we have three incredible trailblazers who not only have walked the path of creating something unique for themselves, they've done it in a way that they're actually bringing others along for the journey as well. And so I'm really excited to see their experience has brought them, and honestly, how we can share and unlock new things for ourselves based on their experiences. So let's get a chance to get to know them. I have a question that I ask everyone here when I first start, and it's to tell us about you and the game you are playing. All right. Let us know about your mission. Let us know about what you stand for in the world and how you go about doing your thing. So, Patrina, why don't we start with you? Tell us about you and the game you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. For one, I love the fact that you say the game you're playing because I'm one of these people that believes you play your way to success. And so, yeah, I consider myself an abundance activator, but in a way that's more integrated and more embodied than most people speak of abundance. And so, for myself, the game that I'm playing is I'm helping people, high performers, high achievers, high functioning people move from hustle to harmony, if I had to put it into just really simple terms. And yeah, so and part of the way that I think that I'm creating more ease around that for people or helping them create the ease is through collaboration, which is why I actually really like what we're doing here today. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that you caught on the fun part of this and like
My core value, fun,
yeah.
freedom and fun.
Yeah, I love that though, right? And actually, I'm going to call in something right now, right? So, because we talk about this outliers, but I want to have more freedom. I want to have more fun. It's like, well, then create something that would be more free and more fun, and go do that. No one told me that we were allowed to do panels or roundtables for conversations. I just
Yeah.
started doing it. So play with that for yourself, right? Awesome. And this will happen all the way through. If I see something, I'll toss it up there. All right, Eloy, would love to get to know you. Tell us more about you and the game you're playing.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, part of what really got me interested was this first question you asked us about the game we're playing. Like Patrina, I encourage people around me to learn the rules and play to win, right? Because we're all playing some sort of game. So, I'd like to provide skills, habits, and resources for people that want to elevate their intrapersonal relationship, their relationship with their self, their personal and professional relationships. I do that through the book and I do that through the podcast as well.
Nice. I saw you just look over your the book, but we didn't get to see what the book was. Like what book is this?
I'm not quite as skilled as Patrina, I
Yeah.
think, at having it in the background, but
Yeah.
this
Perseverance
is
pays off. Hell yeah.
perseverance
Yeah.
pays off. Skills and
All right.
habits to be
I
successful
love the
in life.
artwork, by the way. It's
Yeah.
Thank
stunning.
you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Eloy, I'm glad that you're here. Genevieve, let's get to know you in the game you're playing.
Absolutely. Well, the game that I'm playing is to create purposeful connections that generate impact, both in business and in the community. So while I run my own marketing firm, I also have a heart led workspace, both in the entrepreneurship and the service intersect. So I work with a lot of nonprofits and connect them with for profits to expand our network here in San Antonio.
Nice.
Oh, I love this. We're gonna have a lot of fun here
Work.
today. This is gonna be a good time. And my ask here is just all of you are leaders in your own right. So if at any point in this conversation you want to let's just say disrupt or make more fun the model, feel free. I actually really trust you. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this could be, right? I wonder what this could be. Like we are in a co-creative state. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to change up my normal order of things. Usually, it's outliers ahead, so I'm going to start off with what makes you an outlier, and then I'm going to go and talk about the edge. And with y'all, I think I just want to just jump into the edge, and play off from there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Go.
let's see here, and this is the thing. I think this is why I gave you that first message beforehand because I'm like, oh, I know how far I take the edge. And I think that this group is gonna help me jump off of whatever that edge to figure out what the next one is, right? So let's start off here with just giving outliers a sense of what you are creating right now, especially the ones the things that give you. My manager called it sweaty palms. The thing that you're doing that isn't guaranteed to be a success, but that you're either being driven to do this or you're like, hey, I'm willing to bet on myself to make this into something real. So why don't we start off with that here. And the way that I like to do this is that I'll toss a question in, and then y'all just take it. So like I'll be on mute. We don't have to really do too much. There's also some things happen in my background, so I don't know if you can hear it or not. So let's see right here. Who would like to get us started? What's a project? What's something they're taking on that's giving them sweaty palms, and how they navigating it?
I'd like to begin. Do you
Yeah,
mind if I
one of
begin?
you
Okay,
guys
I'm
go
looking at
first, because otherwise I'll just take over the podcast. Okay.
So, something this relates to the creative space. So, the first season of my podcast helps people who are either re-entering higher education as an adult or starting as an adult, which I did when I was 27 years old. I went back to school. I realized that I wasn't being paid what I was worth and wasn't ever going to be unless I challenged myself deeply. So that's to say that's the first episode, the first season rather of the podcast. The second one is more personal as far as cultural dynamics and really bringing what my medicine is into my creative space. What makes my palms sweaty now is thinking of this third season of my podcast. Part of what my edge is personally is I exist on the kind of outlying areas of most spaces. I'm in an intergenerational relationship, an age gap relationship, and that deeply influences everything, right? I have his deep experience, right, to help, and I'm very intense and deep, and he is very lighthearted. So we balance ourselves in those ways. But what I'm trying to crack open is this conversation about intergenerational relationships and also poly relationships, because that is a layer of our relationship as well. So, what makes my palm sweaty is marrying those worlds and really creating a conversation that isn't salacious, that isn't clickbaity, that isn't about intercourse and those really low hanging fruit, I would like to say, but it's really about what relationships should be, in my opinion, what you're building towards together, and helping people to be more mature when they approach relationships, even if it's not personally, but when you experience us out in in the wild. So that's what makes my palm sweaty, being
I'm
that
obsessed.
much more sincere.
That's gorgeous. I love it. I love it. I actually had read a lot of like David Data books, so I have a lot of insight onto some of the things that you're talking about. And I'm actually preparing for IG Live on Monday with a dear friend of mine from childhood. Actually, it was a friend of my mom's who just recently underwent feminization surgery to become a trans woman. So I've watched that whole journey, and I have a trans child. And I've been a part of poly communities. Like there's just all these overlaps.
Amazing.
And these are conversations that need to be brought forth right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make my palms sweaty because I've been having these conversations in
Yes.
my inner circle for a long time, but it is kind of an edge for me to be doing it on a public platform. But I'm really excited about that. What is making my palms sweaty, which is actually kind of surprising because I've been an entrepreneur in this space, personal development and transformation, for well over 30 years. And I've been doing video and just all the things. But what's making my palms sweaty is that I'm bringing season 6 of my podcast, and it'll be the first time that I'm not doing interview only format. So this bitch is showing up on video alone for 20, 30, 40 minutes with a message, speaking into the camera, because I feel like how you said, Niiamah,
Niiamah. You got it. Yeah, you're good.
like you said earlier, we need to bring something different with all of the AI and all of these like cookie cutter conversations. We really need to show up in our fullness in order to step out, in order to stand out in the market. And so that's what's making my palms sweaty right now is I just started shooting these podcast episodes solo. And I'm like, oh my God, why am I freaking out inside? Like, I don't get nervous. I speak all the time. And yeah, so that's been kind of a fun edge and bringing just more raw, personal. We're Scorpios, we're very private, very personal stories and experiences to the table.
If you're not watching this here, Patrina just like ended with just like a I don't know what it's called, like a face flinch is what I want to call it. Like, yeah. So Genevieve, I want to come to you, but there's something in that moment right there that I think is like is everything. So Patrina, what was that like? You get you're like, I'm in abundance, it's
Yeah.
embodied, I've done this for 30 years, my palms are
Yes.
sweaty, and then
Yes.
you said it, it felt real, and
Oh,
then that happened. I'm
yeah.
really curious about that.
I am the queen of reinvention. I am the queen of the pivot. I am one of the most resourceful and one of the most what do you call it? Like oh God, I can't think of the word right now. But basically you can beat me and drag me through the ground and I come back. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like resilience and
Resilient. Thank
yes.
you. One of the most resilient people you'll ever meet, right? And two things that I've done within the last year that shouldn't seem the shoulds, right? That shouldn't seem like that big of a deal have been so fucking huge for me. One of them is I gave myself permission to take a complete pause from business, from creation, from performing for almost 10 months now. It started off as like a 2-month break. Yeah, no, it's been almost a year. And then the second one is stepping back into the space, but in this like super vulnerable, raw, real way, right? Where it's like unscripted, it's just me. I don't get to hide behind a guest anymore and like spotlight them and put all the attention on them like I normally do. And so that's what you saw. And trust me, I got lots of faces. Everything talks on this face. But what you don't see is that I'm totally heating up right now. Like my whole body is on fire. And so that tells me anytime I'm in a position where something feels a little edgy, a little resistant, sometimes that resistance is like a no, but you usually know what a no resistance feels like in your body. When I start to heat up and I'm like flinching and breathing, and that means it's my next level. And then I'm stepping into an expansion period and becoming something completely different. And that's scary and exciting all at the same time.
I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I asked. Thank you, Katrina. No, seriously, like this is you'll find here. It's like there's a conversation that we're having, but the real conversation is how we have the conversation,
Yeah.
right? And that's really what's at play. So thank you for letting us know. We see you on the outside, and we often compare how what we see on the outside with how we feel on the inside. And it's just really valuable that you decided to also let us know, like, hey, this is what's happening on the inside. You may not see this, but I'm heating up, and like I'm not running away from it. I know that it
Yeah.
means that I must be up on a level shift. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Genevieve, let's bring you in. Like you can go to the original question. You can go with anything that is like that's like on your heart now that's here. Don't feel limited.
Oh,
What you
you're
got?
giving me an open platform. I don't know if you want to do that. Well, you're asking what makes my palms sweaty. What's happening right now? Well, the main pivot that's going on in my branding right now, kind of in that season in my life where you got that aha moment to remind yourself to build from identity, not image. To remind yourself why you're doing what.
And then hold on, Genevieve. It just ended up slowing down on our end here. I feel like the connection just came out for just a bit. So what I want to do is give you a chance to
Clarity,
come back
not
in, and then come back in.
comparison.
Genevieve, can you hear us now? Yeah. Your transmission was so strong that it overwhelmed the lines here.
You
Would
knocked
you
all the circuits.
knocked out with all here?
Yep.
So we lost you a little
Ow.
bit in the middle of that here.
Oh,
But
yeah,
we're
was he
back.
here now? Where'd you leave off?
We're back here. Would you mind sharing with us a bit more about it?
Absolutely. Okay, sure thing. Um, I'm at that season right now in my life where I'm reminded to go back to the basics, to remember my why, to start from the very beginning, to remind myself to build from identity, not image, to build on truth, not the trends, on clarity, not comparison. Those are the things. I mean, I get asked all the time in the business world, how is AI going to separate us from, who we are, our identity, especially as creatives in this space? And that's basically it, reminding people who you are as a person and the value that you're bringing into their space with the services that you are providing, the solutions that you're providing. AI can't substitute that. They can help with it, but they can't substitute it. So when you remember to build from your identity, not the image that people want you to be or expect you to be, then you are building something so much stronger that's going to elevate you to that next level.
100%.
Y'all playing it. Y'all are playing.
We're also aligned. So cool.
Yeah.
Yes, there are several
Did you do that
parallels.
on purpose?
It's almost as if I did. It's almost as if I did. No, it's a cool thing. It's why I talk to outliers, because in a very real way, y'all get it. You know, I've heard next level show up a few different times right now in the conversation here, and so I wanted to speak through that. And you know, Patrina, one of the things I liked was that you talked about like the body heating up as like an indication that you're going to your next level. And I think that like there's a lot of wisdom in just being able to recognize that like, oh, I'm not trying to move forward. I'm actually trying to like step like level up. Like this game is it's a different game.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to keep this one a little bit open ended because I want to see where y'all take it. But I want to play in the bit in that distinction between like trying to move forward, get like do better with what you have, and actually go into something that is causing you to level up. That's causing you to have to become more than what you had become in the past. I'm curious about how you approach it. I'm curious about like the thoughts that go into your mind so you know that you're approaching it with integrity. I'll keep it a little bit open and see where the conversation goes, but really curious what's on your heart related to this.
Well, I'll start since you mentioned my body heating up.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that our body talks to us, but that most of us are moving so fast through the world and we're playing by other people's rules, and we've kind of succumbed to the systems that were put upon us, right? And so all these things that we should be doing, what looks like success, that we don't actually listen to ourselves. And so Jenevy was talking about your brand, your business being built on who you are. That's actually the first pillar of my framework, my Anatomy of Abundance framework. So that's how I do everything. It's how I live my life personally, professionally, and otherwise. And so if you learn more, and it's a deep dive study, I actually did the yoga, I've done neuroscience, I've done so many different trainings to really understand how messages are brought to me through me. But the body specifically gives you clues if we stop to listen to them. So it's funny because the pause that I took wasn't something that I chose. It was because I ended up getting a really bad case of TMJ last August. And if you do the research and go deep into what the spiritual and emotional causes of jaw pain are, it's like denying self, putting yourself last, not being fully present in your voice or like expressing your voice. And I don't remember all the rest. But for me, that was a wake-up call because that's how I live my life. If my body talks, if my neck and my shoulders starting to really tighten up, my body's getting hot, it's a sign, whether or not it's a sign to do something different or a sign that you're on the right path or a sign to beware. Our body talks. And so I just want to encourage everybody listening to give yourself permission to take a pause, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 months, 10 months, so that you can get the clarity you need to make sure that you're making decisions on a daily basis that are aligned with the truth of who you are. But also, like you said, Jenevy, what's my deeper why? Like, what's the bigger picture of what I'm trying to create here? Because if you don't do that, what happens is you end up building a brand or a business or a family or a relationship on a lie and then becoming a prisoner of that. And that's really hard to break free from.
Absolutely.
Something what you just said there that like I found like myself like a bit frowning at the end. And that frown
Nervous.
was like yeah, you saw
I
that?
called your ass out.
Yeah, that's basically it. I was
You're
like,
like, ooh,
is this all a lie? Like, no, but like
is it all a lie?
but I think that if I'm gonna be real about it, let me be real like with it and take the humor out of it. You're catching me at a time right now where I'm finding myself trying to get to actually like the basics of things, right? I'm just like, if I stripped off everything, what is it that I care about? I care about coaching and connection, right? With me and with others, right? And there's a part where I'm like, I used to live and come from purpose. But now I'm like, right now, let me just like make sure that the business is doing what I want it to do, like from the mechanics of it. And people are like, "Where's your why? Where's your that?" I'm like, I almost don't want to get lost in it because I'm so
Mhm.
magnetic in that I could bring that forward and then not have any infrastructure underneath it. Like I couldn't in the past I did it and I couldn't hold it. And
Yeah.
so like it was very starts and stops. But
That's why you need a
yeah,
system, the
yeah, that's
analogy of
it.
abundance framework. The top three steps of the system are all mental, spiritual, emotional systems. And then the lower law parts of the framework are organize, systemize, move into action with accountability and support. So I think what happens as entrepreneurs, as spirituals, as heart-centered leaders, we can get so swept up in the vision and the why and the spirituality of it all. Me, I'm calling myself out, and not be grounded. And so that's where it's really important to live as above and below and to create this what I call embodied abundance, right? So it's taking this, putting it into a system so that we can live this life of freedom and play, but also hit those goals and have that joy that we feel like is out here when it's actually available to us right now.
It's true. And it's the more, the more structure and discipline you build, the more freedom you actually are creating.
Yeah.
And the less structure and discipline you have, the more chaos ends up happening. And a lot of people, they resist structure, not because it's hard, but because it focuses you to confront where you are the most undisciplined.
Mhm.
And so, in the areas of your life, you need to take an inventory and see where you are to figure out what the next steps need to be. Because if you value your business growth, goals, and freedom specifically, you need consistency. And replicability needs predictability. And that's a level of structure. That's a whole nother one, especially for entrepreneurs, especially at this season in your life. So discipline and structure, it doesn't restrict freedom. They create conditions for it.
Agreed, 100%. I think that's also why it's so important to collaborate
Mhm.
because I think, and I don't want to take all the time. I want to hear from Eloy because I know he's got some good stuff to share. But just one point I want to make is that when we come together in collaboration, rather than spending too much time focusing on what we need to shore up, we can just get together with someone who's like Niiamah, right? Who's super structured and like he thrives when he's in those kind of lower law pieces of the system and complements each other.
Mhm.
And so that's why I really appreciate this space you're creating because this is how life should work. Like,
Yes, I agree that it's physical. I'm taking a lot of for the last couple years, I've reverted to what Bernice King shares, which is be a good steward of your character. Be a good steward of your energy, pardon me. Character came out
oh,
interestingly. I don't want to say Freudianly because Freud, but be a good steward of your energy. We, as outliers and as trailblazers, once we create something, I think we get that, oh, what else can I create? I know I have this path that I want to share and I want to be alongside people and see them succeed as well. And at one point, I think we need to stop and we need to really ask ourselves that question. Are we being a good steward of our energy? And we need to think more than just building. We need to, I think, also think of environment. So if we're speaking sincerely and being real, the world is a shit show right now.
yeah.
It's really scary.
Mhm.
It's really angry. And I'm not going to justify one way or another. But what I am going to say is if we continue to use the same frameworks when, as a whole, humanity is going through something different, we're going to have a disconnect. And that can essentially remind us how human we are in this world of AI and innovation and bring us back to center, which I think is what we've mentioned, or it can continue to create a rift with yourself, which is why I started my conversation talking about our intrapersonal relationship, our relationship with ourself. Don't want to monologue, but what we're experiencing in humanity causes a lot of us to disassociate.
Mhm.
right? We don't want to be present and feel it because we can't handle it and we are but human. So then we go into work and we project, we're unsettled, we're upset. If you're a supervisor or manager in any way, shape, or form, the team will lay their life at your feet and say, fix it, right? And we have to have the bandwidth to be able to show up and collect all of that with grace and humility and not stripping the person of their dignity and say, this is your life and your responsibility. How can I help you with my role to do our joint work together? And we can't do that if we don't have the energy to do it and if we don't have the emotional self-regulation. So we need to be able to model, to learn what we don't know, understand it, model it, and then not expect it, but show it and teach it. So to that question, I'm trimming. Don't grow right now. Maybe don't. Maybe stop. Ask yourself, where is your energy better served right now for people, for humanity? Because what is going to be left after, right? Who will I have to coach? Who will I have to listen to if I don't stop now and show them how to take care of themselves for the next several, however long? So being a good steward of our energy and saying, do I have to grow? Do I need to sell something else? Do I need to do a new campaign? Usually, yes, but what for? What is it serving? What is it serving and who?
And what's motivating it, right? Am I doing it for validation? Am I doing it because I'm of fear, because I'm afraid if I don't do X, Y, and Z that I won't be relevant anymore? Like, what am I really doing it for? That's where her why, where Genevieve's why, staying connected to that why, that's where it comes in. Yeah.
I'm
Very,
breathing this one in here. I'm breathing this one in real quick here. Sorry, Patrina, what'd you say?
you can unmute mine. I'm in this conversation.
I know. There we go. I'm bringing in. Um, there's a thing that's coming into me. I'm just gonna lean into this here. So, outliers, I'm gonna invite you right now to just take a quick 5 seconds here, just to check in with your body, right here. But like, what's your body doing? What's it saying? Like, Patrina, I really like that element of like listening to it, and I think that there's a practice that's
Yeah,
involved
for
in
sure.
that. You know,
For sure.
um, I'm also hearing energy management, and like as I said it out loud, it did not sound as beautiful as what you were getting at, Eloy. You're like energy stewardship, but I was like energy management. But I think there's
It
something in
actually
here,
just shows the difference in the mindset and the
yeah,
training, the perspective on it.
right?
It's a
Like,
good
and
awareness.
you'll find I'm constantly listening out for different distinctions, and like it seems like it's the same, but it is very, very different. Right? It does play out. It plays out in a different way. Um, I'm gonna want to like take this conversation here in the direction of not going it alone. And this is, if I'm being real, it's one of the edges that I'm on right now. Interestingly enough, my number one fear is being alone. And I think like for a while I have like taken on that edge by doing more things alone. And now I'm recognizing that I'm in a space where I'm like, I don't know how to like get help again. And if I'm like, and
Oh
like the real
shit,
thing is
I'm by
like,
myself.
I'm still, yeah. And like, and I've gotten good with it. And like a part of me knows that it's better with people, but
Yeah,
another part of me has gotten to the place of like, and this is where like the creator comes. I'm like, but I know like if I do it, it'll be done it will
right.
be done. It was like, and that's the thing though. Like, I want to say it be done right, but I also know, like, I came to you all. I'm like, hey, let's co-create this into something that it may not have been beforehand.
Yeah.
But I want to just get your take. Like, how are y'all building team? How are you building it in an authentic way? And Patrina, you brought in collaboration a couple different
Yeah.
times here today. Like how do you lean into that from the standpoint of being an outlier and trailblazer? Like I'm curious about like what y'all are doing differently that goes beyond like, want to come on my podcast? I'll come on yours. Great, we did it. Like,
Oh yeah.
like like there's
Yeah.
something beyond that. So want to get how y'all living into this. Anyone want to take us up on that?
Sure. Um, honestly, well, you know my story. I've had my CPA steal from me. I've had a business partner take half of my clients during COVID. I've had to restart my business and revamp and rebrand. And so it gets really hard to trust other people, especially when it comes to working in partnerships. But there's a thing, we repeat what we don't repair. So I had to learn how to repair relationships, how to talk to people, how to make sure I set them in the spaces they need to be versus having them all at once at the very beginning be part of every part of my life. And there's certain situations where some people, you know what, they're going to fit in the networking scene. There's some people that's going to be great in your family scene. There's some in your close circle, but there's a compartment for everybody and they're not part of your entire vision. So you have to be careful to, like you said, take care of your space, take care of that energy, because when you bring the wrong person into your team, it can break your team. And when my business partner did all of that, I mean, it crushed me and our team was divided and I had to rebuild from scratch. But it's okay. I learned a lot from it. So I made sure I didn't repeat it when I brought in other people. But there's times where you're going to need to be by yourself. You know, isolation comes before elevation. So in that season where you're by yourself, you're going to learn how to communicate better so that when you step out into a space where you're going to start networking again, start working with other people that can help elevate your business, now you're talking in a different way. Now you're walking a different way because your mindset is different and now you're ready. You're just committed to certain patterns of behavior because they helped you in the past. But what happens is once you break through from that, you're able to talk to people in a way that they can understand now, because now you're not speaking from a place of brokenness. You're speaking from a place where you've been healed. So now you're going to start attracting the right people. The right people will come into your circles and they'll know your vision just by the way that you speak. And you also know and come into alignment, just like the people in this room right now, because you've already been in that season of isolation. And now that you're coming out, you're stepping into a space of elevation. And now you've got the right people in your space to help you do that.
It's fun. So I see head nods here, like we're taking it in on our end. I see head nods here, Patrina. I saw eyebrow wiggles, you know. So you know I'm gonna lean in on that one there. What's as you said, she said it earlier, y'all. She said, "Look, my face says so many things." So I'm
Oh
curious
yeah, I'm a very
what that says.
animated fan.
Yeah,
I'm a very animated person,
yeah,
period.
yeah.
Um,
What's flowing
so,
through you right now on this or anything?
so this, I mean, remind me of the question because I just
Yeah,
got caught up. It
yeah.
was about collaboration and like, oh, I remember. So what I wanted to offer is that, so I became a widow at 35. Found out I was pregnant with my fourth child the same day I became a widow.
Yep.
So as someone who grew up with a lot of trauma, like, you know, abandonment trauma and single moms in my whole family, and seeing this example of like, if you want something done and if someone needs to be responsible, it needs to be me. I intimately understand your need to like be in control and not necessarily, or not just yours. I don't want to call you out, but everybody, right? I understand the need of like protecting, especially our visions, right? Our work, our vision, our movement, our calling in the world, and we want to protect that. It wasn't until I moved to San Diego that I started to embrace the idea of allowing people to help me and taking it even to the next step of asking for help. Asking for help. And it was part of the poly community, the spiritual community, and some of these communities that I found myself getting introduced to that actually opened that up for me in a way that felt safe. So I think environment and safety is very important. These sacred spaces where you really get to show up fully as who you are, say the things that need to be said without filtering. And again, going back to that performing, right? What I can say now is that I've developed so much that ability to trust until proven untrustworthy. I've embraced the skill now of collaboration over competition or mistrust. And it's really from moving internally. And I love the word you used, can't remember it, but I love it. The internal, moving that internal conversation and belief and being grounded in what I call abundance, which is, yes, fear exists and it may come and go, but it's not who I am, and it doesn't rule me, because I'm going to make all of my decisions and stand in abundance always, which means open, loving, prosperity, enough for everyone. There is no competition, right? And so the book that I have here on one of these sides was actually my first collaborative book, because I had something to bring forth into the world, but I knew it needed to be more than just my voice who contributed to that. And so I brought in people with different expertise, different nationalities, different backgrounds, so that anyone who reads the Anatomy of Abundance book and hears about the framework will have a story or a perception within that book that they can relate to. And so I think when we shift our mindset from, I don't want anyone to steal from me, or they're not going to do it the way I want them to do it, that kind of perfectionist thing, which I'm still recovering from, so we're not alone here. But when we start to allow ourselves again to get uncomfortable and put ourselves in position to prove ourselves wrong, that's when the elevation happens.
Y'all are really fun. Y'all are really fun. Eloy, I see you submuted. You want anything you want to bring in?
Yeah, just briefly, I absolutely agree. I think to what Genevieve was saying is maintaining a standard. Work related, I inherited a team that had a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad habits, and we work in a place that has a lot of structure. We do a very specific thing. We have a very high standard, and it's not for everyone. What I needed to do was be a good steward of my energy and realize I can't address everything every day with everyone. I need to individually learn who they are and where and why they trigger me if they do, right? And where or why I gravitate to the ones that I do. And always something that I challenge myself, and this is an edge also. This is absolutely an edge. Learning, recognizing, realizing, and understanding that the person that you dislike the most has something to teach you. The person you avoid the most, the person that triggers you the most, you can learn from.
Yep.
It may be surface level or it may be deep, right? So I needed to open myself, think like Genevieve was saying, and like Patrina's been saying, right? Check in with myself and then see what to do moving forward. The way that that was solved was to your question that you're asking now is about people and how do we attract people is I'm not in a hurry. I have very few friends. I love them dearly and they are close and I've made them in adulthood um, because I didn't have an identity as a younger person because of the constraints of religion on my identity as a gay man. So I didn't learn myself until almost my 30s and I'm 35, right? So the level of transformation that's happened in 10 years is because I didn't hurry when I got to know myself. I didn't judge myself for all those things that came up and that I healed from the amount of time I had before, like what Genevieve's saying. Because what we don't heal shows up in our relationships. And why does that matter? Because if we're used to doing everything for other people, or if we're used to silencing ourselves or lying to ourselves for whatever reason, for me it was for protection, we'll continue to do that in every aspect of life, and that's not fair to us. Because what we went through is enough. There has to get to a point where we can have peace. So, excuse me,
Sure.
to reel it in is taking the time. For me, it's taking the time because I don't suffer fools likely. I believe iron sharpens iron. I believe we can have a good time and also live in our purpose. But not everyone will breathe at the heights that we're going. And we need to remember that and be okay with it. And then take your time. I meet someone, I am not in a hurry. I want to see what they're like on their birthday. I want to see what they're like during the holidays. I want to see what they're like, during their peaks and their valleys. And at least a year, you will see all of those things, right? So when it comes down to people, I prefer, and I'm not going to say quality or quantity because I think is can be demeaning, right? As humans, right? That's not from a heart-centered space. But not everyone is in alignment, and I'm not for everyone, and not everyone is for me. So I like to wait it out if I'm sincere. I like
You're
to,
for me, Eloy.
yeah.
Right. Look,
we,
I'm
we
like,
knew
yes,
that from when we logged
brother.
on.
I know the hair. We're hair twins and we're soul twins.
We
I love
are.
it.
y'all have been really generous here. And what it feels like is in generous of experience and generous of heart, as well as generous of in connection. I almost use the word abundance, and I want to use it, but I'm gonna let Patrina own that for today in this conversation. But I I I wanted to say a couple things here. We're gonna wrap up our conversation here. Um, let me talk actually to outliers and trailblazers listening. Um, this has been a really generous conversation, and like what I also feel is like there's been a lot that has been said, but it's also been really spacious. And in that space, there's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of freedom. There's been a lot of challenging ideas, but also like leaning in. I'm grateful for you, Alex. If there's something if, I haven't asked of you, and it's to think of one person in your life who would benefit from listening to this conversation. As much as I want this to go out and just be spread out to everyone out in the world and through your socials, please feel free to go do that. I think that there's something underneath this that if we can share it one person at a time, Eloy, you just said like just like not be in a rush about it, but instead make sure like the person who was supposed to hear this message received it. If we do that, I think that's what this whole game has all been about. And so my ask is that you listen and you think about like someone in your world who would really benefit from hearing what Patrina and Eloy and Jenevy and myself were sharing, and share this with them with deep intention, and let them know like it's a gift of a conversation to them. And yeah, it would just mean the world to me. I keep leaning into it. Like a part of me is like, I should have the thing. Like, no, like this is for someone, and we know, and like if we get to that person, we've done our job and beyond.
I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
for holding space for the divine to do what it was here to do.
Oh.
We were not here together by accident, by any means. I'm just like super heated over here. I'm excited.
That's a good thing. That's a
It's
good
been
thing.
wonderful.
We're gonna wrap up here. The way I like to wrap up is with two questions. The first one is just how outliers can go deeper down the journey with you. Let us know the best way that we can like contact you. We all have multiple platforms, so my ask is that like just let us know the most leveraged way and the one that like helps outliers like really get into your world. So that's one. How can we go deeper down the journey with you? And then the second thing is I would love if you can share an insight that you are taking away from this conversation, right? Something like my ask is that we leave the outliers like they've gotten what they need. Like they've gotten their outsights is what I call it. This is for you insight, and it's also a way for us to share the impact that we've had on each other. All right. And so why don't we start off with you, Eloy? If you can let us know how we can go deeper down your journey and an insight that you got from today's convo.
Yes, thank you. Instagram or Spotify, and you could search LPD Cast on either. And Spotify, please stream any of the episodes that you feel speak to you. On Instagram, feel free to reach out anytime. I'm looking forward to hearing from all the wonderful people that listen to you. As far as insights, personal insights. Um, the reminder, you all are mirrors. This has been a wonderful conversation. I think personally, the insight is rooted in reflection. That what I've been mulling over and the restructuring that I've been thinking about approaching what I do professionally from a more personal and open space is the right decision. It's the right decision. And also with what Genevieve has been reminding us is that structure and that discipline, right? If I am going to build something new in this space, it needs to be identity based, it needs to be purpose based, and it needs to be structured still, because that's what we do as outliers, right? We still have that structure that helps us succeed. So my insights are the creative spaces that I'm tapping into are going to be good and will lead me to the next stage of what I need to create that may not be as personal, but will be just as valuable.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. This
What's
is
your Instagram handle?
At LPDcast. Yes.
Very good.
Jennifer, why don't we come to you? Would you mind sharing with us the best way we can go deeper with you and the insight you got from today, if any?
Absolutely. If you can connect with me on my Instagram, which is Jenevy, Jenevys Designs, Designs. I also have a podcast called Let's Talk Business podcast, as well as Empowerment in the 210 podcast. I'd love for you guys to be guests on that and be a part of that movement that we're having here in the great city of San Antonio. Great great stuff today, just absolutely amazing. I'm still kind of soaking it all in. One of the things that really stood out to me was one of the things that Eloy said about how, that person that you're trying to avoid, the person that you don't even like, might be the person you need to learn from. And I think that's absolutely powerful, because whether it's an experience that you have from that individual, they're going to teach you something, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. Even their atmosphere, the vibe that they create, it's going to be very evident. And this is where you see your maturity, where your level of emotional intelligence is at. How you're going to react to people who belittle you, the people who hurt you. They're going to humble you in ways that you never even knew. And so how you handle that and how you react to that, I think it's absolutely powerful and pivotal, especially as entrepreneurs who consistently build. I mean, how hard is it to build, first of all, but then to build to have someone turn around and try to break what you build, right? And make that their mission. I mean, it's a whole nother level. This is actually one of the ways you're going to know how you've leveled up as an entrepreneur, as a builder. How do you react to these people? And so thank you for sharing that, Eloy. That was absolutely powerful.
Thank you, Jenevy. And then Patrina, why don't you bring us all home today?
Yeah, definitely. So I keep things real simple. My Instagram handle is Patrina Wisdom. And I would say it's probably the best place to connect with me, because it's me. I don't have a bot or someone else running my IG. And the second place to connect with me, I'm launching my season 6 of Living Room Wisdom. It's the Living Room Wisdom podcast. We also have an IG page as well that we're getting going for that. But Spotify, YouTube, everywhere, Living Room Wisdom podcast. My insights for today, oh my gosh. So this just confirmed for me that collaboration is the new way, right? Coming together. I feel like there's so many talking heads out there and so many quote unquote experts that, like, yeah, you just became expert 2 years ago or whatever, not to, like poo-poo on people's work, but for somebody who's just seen so many things change over the last 3 decades in our industry, it just disheartens me sometimes. And so when I'm in spaces like this where people are showing up fully with open hearts, sharing, being a part of the conversation, not performing, it just helps me to really feel like we're going to be okay. The industry's going to be okay. Humanity's going to be okay. And I really want to compliment you, Niiamah, because from start to finish, the experience I don't typically respond to cold emails, by the way. Yours was in spam. And when I saw it, there was something in me that was like, follow this path. And from the time that I received the email until right now, the whole experience has been wonderful, very well put together. So keep doing what you're doing. Those were some of the insights. And then, of course, these beautiful people I got to spend time with. Like, I feel like I made new friends. So it's very exciting, and I'm just grateful to be here.
Thank you for that. I'm receiving that as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to take a breath in on that. I can feel things inside of my body as it's starting to heat up right now. And I appreciate all of you here. Outliers. Until the next time we talk, remember, be you on purpose. Journey on.